the US and EU have reached to an agreement. 15% tariff will be placed on majority of EU goods entering the US from the earlier proposed 30% tariff. With Trump's visit to Scotland, the European Union and the United States have signed upon a trade deal which imposes 15% tariffs on the European Union goods instead of the threatened 30%. Trump's Turnberry resort has announced that the trade will help in boosting US exports and help upon reducing the trade deficits. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, has called it a huge deal after tough negotiations. This deal covers European exports like cars, pharmaceuticals and semiconductors, imposing a 15% tariff on them, which is 6 times more than the 2.5% imposed before the Trump administration. Europe had hoped for at best 0 for 0 tariff or at worst 10%. However, the President of the Commission accepted on 15%, labeling it as best as they could get. The tariff on European steel and aluminium is still 50%, with hopes for a possible. To reduce their reliance on Russian gas, EU has agreed upon purchasing $750 billion worth of US energy over the course of 3 years. EU will also invest $600 billion in US sectors like pharmaceuticals, autos, and buying military equipment. In order for boosting American farmers and manufacturers, EU market will open for the US at 0% tariff. While aircraft plane parts, certain chemicals and generic drugs along with some agricultural products face 0 tariffs, the rate on wine and spirits remains undecided. Trump had initially excluded the pharmaceuticals, but von der Leyen confirmed that they do face 15% tariffs. The deal was welcomed by the German Chancellor Friedrich Merz as it protects Germany's auto-heavy export economy, while Bernd Lanz has called it imbalanced, putting forward an argument of EU's investments coming out at bloc's expense. The euro has risen by 0.2% against major currencies, reflecting market reliefs. The deal aims to cut the $235 billion US-EU goods trade deficit, but it comes at the cost of inflation risks. Analyst Carsten Nickel called it a high-level agreement risking misinterpretations like the US-Japan deal. Uncertainty prevails as Trump can increase tariffs on EU investments if they fall.